As always, our aims, as they were at the very beginning, are to promote the towns of Cromer and Sheringham, and I still include Sheringham, although they have decided not to play such a large part over the weekend of the festival, but I understand they are going to continue to do a food trail, and we do have a number of people from Sheringham here who are going to be taking part in the art trail, so I'm really pleased about that. The other is to provide entertainment, and hopefully we should be doing that, and even adding to what we've had in past years. And of course one of the big things is to promote the local fishing industry, its heritage, and our local businesses will benefit from this weekend. It's a part of trying to extend the season, although I think now in Cromer every weekend we have a reasonably busy time. If the weather's good, we get far more visitors now. I think we did 9 years ago when we started. And of course the other thing is to raise money for local charities. Although the money that you sponsor the trail with the lighthouses this year, goes towards the expenses of the weekend of the festival, the money raised from the auction is the money that we give away to local organisations and charities. And over those, in the first year, if you remember, we had those very large crabs and lobsters. From the auction we gave away £9,000. The following year we gave away £7,500, because perhaps the items that have then gone on show have become a bit smaller. We've gone down to, for the last, since 2012 to 17, round about an average of £5,000 a year, which is still a good sum. And by my reckoning, we're getting very close to the £50,000 mark. With your support this year, I'm hoping that we will go through that by some way. And over those 9 years, as it will be, between 25 and 30 local organisations in Cromer, Sheringham and in the local area have benefited from the Crab and Lobster Festival. So what have we got for 2018? Well, this year's festival starts, is the Saturday the 19th and 20th. Starts, of course, on the 18th with the concert, the opening concert on the pavilion, in the Pavilion Theatre. The auction for and the World Pier Crabbing Championships are the end of the season on Sunday the 26th of August. We've been planning on trying to make it a bigger and better, but with also the usual emphasis on the local fishing industries and related foods. And I'm pleased to say that Charlie Hodson will be organising the food theatre for us this year, so we're looking forward to some exciting recipes. In fact, a friend of mine came back from Australia last week, and he brought back a book of recipes, which they have a crab festival down where he was staying, and that might be interesting for some of you to have a look at those one time. Obviously the crabs are a different design, but there's some quite interesting things in there. This year, of course, as I've mentioned earlier, we should be concentrating on Cromer on both days. Sheringham, as I say, have decided to go their own way this year, but we should be thinking of them, and hopefully it will benefit their town as well. As I said, the festival will start on the 18th of May and at the Pavilion Theatre, and we're continuing with the £10 a ticket price for seats, and I think that's those of you who've been or come regularly will admit that it's a very good price, very reasonable for the show that you get on that evening. We've got two which I think are very exciting new developments this year. Firstly, the Friends of North Lodge Park are going to be involved, and I was hoping that Samantha would be here. Unfortunately, I think there's a family illness, so she can't come along to explain. But they are not going to clash with the Crab and Lobster Festival, but be part of the whole weekend, and they're organising a garden festival, which is very applicable to North Lodge, I think, and I understand they've got some quite interesting and again some exciting events going on there, not only for adults but for the whole family, so we're looking forward to that. Not also, but the fact that hopefully it will mean that people starting off at this end of the town will make their way through the town to North Lodge Park. We'll probably have to signpost it a little bit better than it is at the moment. But having said that, at least it will take people through the town. And also we have the Chamber of Trade represented now, not only on the committee, but they are going to be taking part and have offered to build, I might be getting this wrong now, a large lighthouse to go on view in the centre of the town. I don't know whether, Gary, you want to add any more to that, if you'd like to come and add a bit to that one on behalf of the Chamber. Gary Dickinson is President of the Chamber.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Yeah, we're really pleased that the Chamber's involved in the event this year. As Tony's already said, we've got a representative on the committee team, and we were thinking about how we could best get involved, and we were thinking about the art trail, and then we sort of thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we could, I mean at the time we didn't know it was a lighthouse, but whatever it was, we said, could we build a big one of it and put it in the town so that it would attract people down into the town. Obviously many of our members have businesses in the main stretch of the town, and we want to encourage people to come into the town. That's been aided this year by, again, what Tony said with the Friends of North Lodge Park, what they're doing. And obviously the town will very much become a conduit between the two events, and so we want to make sure that people come into the town, they can look at something while they're there. We're also hoping to put on a food trail, and then they will go on up to the North Lodge Park event, and equally people that are initially attracted to that event will come on through back to the town and up to the Crab and Lobster. So what that lighthouse looks like is still to be formalised, you know, whether it's decorated by various individuals in the town, sponsored or whatever. I'm not really sure, we're yet to discuss that, but certainly it'll be a centrepiece in the town, much like the alternative Christmas tree, and hopefully it'll be talked about further afield as well.
So thank you, Gary, and the Chamber for that, and we're looking forward to seeing what develops. As I've already mentioned, the festival is built on a celebration of the local delicacies of crab and lobster and its heritage, particularly its fishing industry. And to further promote the heritage side, Peter, who's down here at the moment working his laptop for the pictures, is going to extend the heritage display in the marquee this year and make a much bigger part of the festivities for that. I don't know if you want to say anything about that at this moment, Peter, other than...
No, don't worry, we're working away.
He's working on it.
You give us the space, we'll get it sorted.
Right, okay. I think we might need another marquee in that case. Okay, and of course there will be all the hands-on activities that we've had in the past for both the children and adults, and of course all the children's entertainment, and of course I hope we will be having once again the crab sandwich competition. I'm getting a nod from Philip, who started it off and actually won it last year. So, you know, it's quite an accolade if you are selling food in the town to come up with that title for the year. So I hope there'll be lots entering in that one. And as I say, the art trail, as you can see beside me here, the theme is lighthouses. And I'm sure many of you and I've heard many of you talking about your ideas already for what you're going to do with lighthouse and how you're going to decorate it. At the end of this presentation, Peter is going to go through some pictures that he'd put together of lighthouses, which may give you a bit of encouragement and give you some ideas. But I was talking to this evening, and we came up with perhaps the idea that one of the small ones, you could make it into a light ship even. But of course, there again, you can put a base on them, and we're hoping you will do, to decorate them, to make them look perhaps like a traditional lighthouse standing there on the rocks, or it might have a background and look something like the Cromer lighthouse up there on the cliffs, and I'm sure there's lots of ideas that you will come up with. And I know that from what we've had in past years, that there's no limit to your imaginations when it gets started on decorating these articles. So we're really looking forward to that. I'm going to ask Jane Davis, who in fact is organising the art trail for us, to come and enlarge a bit on what I've just said, I think.
August, and take them to the auction, as Tony has already said, and look to raise some really good money with them for various good causes. Now, the sponsorship fees don't just pay for the lighthouses, they pay for the production of over 10,000 leaflets that will have your business, the location of your lighthouse, and the artist who's produced those. Some of you don't know who your artist is yet. Please can you get that information to me by the end of March so that we can get the leaflets produced in good time. Because my next job, once I've sold the lighthouses, or I've got you to sponsor them, is to gather around the countryside giving out leaflets to unwitting holiday locations such as campsites and hotels, and I give some to each of you also to give out, and of course the tourist information centres, and there'll be some at the Crab and Lobster Festival also. So over 10,000 leaflets, with this year we hope 100 businesses taking part, so that'll be an increase on last year. 100 happens to be the same as the number of letters in a game of Scrabble. I don't know if we've got any Scrabble fiends around here. Got Andreas. Anybody else play Scrabble? They're not going to own up, are they? Well, we do, sorry, and upwards as well. But we're going to have a Scrabble game running, so each lighthouse will have a Scrabble letter allocated to it by the time it comes for you to put them up. And we're going to have a couple of Scrabble games set out, the fine details as yet to be worked. There'll be a junior one, and if you've ever seen junior Scrabble, you'll know that there's words already on the board and they have to find the letters to put on the words. There'll be junior ones, and we'll be looking for sponsors for something like a lollipop or an ice cream voucher or something like that for kiddies who actually go around the trail and find the letters for their board. But also there'll be a challenge to see who can get the highest Scrabble score on a plain board using the letters for each lighthouse. What they have to do though is find where the letters are. So for example, if yours happens to be the only one with a Q on it, they're going to have to hunt down your lighthouse. And these will be allocated randomly, so there'll be no favouritism as to who gets the Q and the Z and the J and so on. So we'll have a couple of games going on. There's also going to be, as last year, a vote to see who is the most popular. And the most popular last year was Digby's octopus with his head stuck in the porthole ring, which had me chuckling for ages. It was hanging upside down in his shop. I don't know how many of you saw that. But some of the really innovative ideas people absolutely passionately voted for, and we'd like to see that happening again. When you need to display it and when you need to give it back. So you need to be displaying this on the first bank holiday in May. So that's the weekend of the 5th of May. Okay, so that gives you quite a long time to get decorated and organised. We invariably have some people that don't get theirs up in time. Can we make this the first year that the majority do get up? Please, please, please. Partly because my Scrabble game's not going to work very well if there's some of my letters missing. Sort of, the Z's gone missing, it's not going to go very well. Also, just after Carnival Week, we'll be looking to get your lighthouses back in. The details are not available at the moment, but if you can keep an eye on your email addresses, please. Around the early part of August, we'll email out the dates and places that we'll need to get your lighthouses returned to. We'd like to get the majority brought back to us because there will be specific locations where it's easy to store lighthouses. And I think if Tony offers to store them in his garage, Sandra would have something to say about it. There'd be far too many lighthouses in the garage for the last few months. So we will be looking at a central location for you to bring them to. We may be able to pick up a few if people really cannot bring them to us, but we'd like you to have a go at bringing them to us if possible.
I'll finish now by saying thank you to the people who've sponsored this evening. I'd like to thank Kevin Jonas from Jonas Seafood, who sponsored quite a large number of crabs for whatever is crabby over there for you to eat, and April for donating the wine that you've had for coming when you came in, or are still drinking now. And of course I'd like to say a big thank you to the staff, to Belinda, to Richard, who's been in here this evening, all their help and assistance in putting this evening on, for giving us the room to use and at no charge. So we do appreciate that, and I would like you to thank them in the usual way, please, if you would.